Today on the Daniel Baldwin Show, the United States bombs Iran, just like I told you they would. Hi, and welcome to the Daniel Baldwin Show. It is Monday, the 23rd of June, and I am in Pennsylvania at the Andre Reed Celebrity Golf Tournament. Andre Reed, as you may remember, was the wide receiver for the very famous Buffalo Bills football teams that went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls. Andre is a dear friend of mine, and I go to his event as many times as I can, get to see his mom and his family, and of course my dear friend Andre. So here I am in Pennsylvania, and I wanted to do a show. I'm in my hotel room. I'm going to do the best I can, but as I predicted, the lead story here and the show is going to be about Trump's decision to bomb the nuclear enrichment plants in Iran. But first, we're going to start with some viewer mail. And we have, hang on one sec. We have Maria Jimenez of San Antonio, Texas, says, ironic we picked out this email. So why is it that they don't like everything Trump says and does? Why do you think that, Daniel? Wow, I don't know where to begin. Maria, there are two different sides, the left and the right, Democrats, Republicans, whatever you want to call it. And I think we've been lost in this country for a long time about the levels that we're willing to go to point out our differences, as opposed to any option that we could go to point out our commonality or what our goals should be, which is whatever is the best interest of Americans. You'll see into the show, I'm not going to give a great amount of license to your question, only because I think the show answers a lot of those questions right now and points out with facts and videotape evidence. You saw the part that I posted already over a week ago before we bombed Iran, that I said it was coming, that I told you 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, and as low as 10 days ago. We're going to be engaged in Iran. This is what's going to happen. And it has. And I think it's going to be more than it already is now. I hope not. I mean, I really pray that Iran acts responsibly, or there's going to be lives lost in the region, which would be a shame. It really would be. But let me go on to the actual bombing. Let's roll the clip of the past 4 presidents, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, I believe it has Clinton in there, Hillary and President Clinton. But you'll see from the clip. Roll the clip, please.
The United States is clear. We will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
If I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that.
Make no mistake, a nuclear-armed Iran is not a challenge that can be contained. It would threaten the elimination of Israel, the security of Gulf nations, and the stability of the global economy. It risks triggering a nuclear arms race in the region and the unraveling of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. That's why a coalition of countries is holding the Iranian government accountable. And that's why the United States will do what we must to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
As long as I'm President of the United States, Iran will not get a nuclear weapon. I made that clear when I came into office.
And look, I mean, Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? And what we saw in terms of just this attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles, what we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
So if you have proof that...
Okay. So here are the American leaders, potential leaders, and actual presidents talking about the importance to make sure that an unstable, untrustworthy government in Iran does not get their hands on nuclear power. They can't. So an agreement was already made that told them, we will police you, the UN will monitor you, our intelligence will monitor you. We have heat plumes that happen and all different things that we can pick up from satellites that detect uranium, and our intelligence, the individuals, the spies, if you will, and the CIA and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of ways to find out whether or not Iran is moving forward. Iran absolutely broke the deal that was brokered by Obama. There was a deal and a warning to them and to our people. And listen, if they do anything that enhances their ability to become a nuclear power, we will squash them. I think Hillary Clinton in the clip said something like, obliterate them. And she even says, I know that's a terrible thing to say. She meant it. Hillary Clinton meant that if she was president and we could prove, she would have bombed the crap out of these people back into the Stone Ages. So here comes Trump, to go back to our question in viewer mail. Here comes Trump, and he goes, hey, intelligence says that they are enriching uranium, the type of uranium that's used that can only be used for nuclear weapons. Don't be stupid. Don't think that he didn't get on through certain channels and say, hey guys, I will blow you up if you do this. Like, you better not be doing what I'm getting the reports on. They did. They made those calls. They didn't want to fly and risk American lives. Well, there was no choice. There was no choice because they were moving forward and they were going to have weapons grade material ready for only one reason, to make weapons in an area with people who religiously believe that it's their job to kill us. They believe that their job is for us to be dead. Obama said it, Clinton said it, Hillary ran on it, Kamala said it, Biden said it, Obama said it. All in the clip that I showed you right here. What did they say they would do if Iran started moving forward with nuclear weapons? And so Trump did what any one of them said they were going to do, because he could prove that they were moving forward with the development of nuclear weapons. He bombed strategically the areas that we had intel that would have been enriching that uranium. What is your problem with that? I'm listening to all this noise of people that need to find something that they can say. Something, because they hate this man, they hate this president. But he did what every other president before him said they would do. He did what some of these presidents before him have already done, and he did it in a pretty cost-effective, quick, painless way. He went right to the source, and he blew them up. Now, there may be some retaliation. Oh, Chuck Schumer wants an explanation and wants to be notified of any further action. Hey, you're not our friend. You're not the president's friend. Why would he bring you into his inner circle to tell you anything? All you people have done is condemn him and work against him. Why would he share that with you? And the fact of the matter is, he did lightly brief people like Schumer before it happened. He didn't give them great details, because God knows what those people would have done with it. God knows what they would have done with it to make this fail and make him look bad. They've done everything else they can, lied about him, charged him, prosecuted him. They've done everything they can. So no, I don't blame him for, Chuck Schumer's not in his inner sanctum at the White House. No, shut that guy up. Tell him you're not telling him anything. I wouldn't have told him anything. Nothing. You didn't make it. You didn't win. You didn't run. Your candidate didn't win or run. He didn't call Kamala Harris to tell her, or Joe Biden, what happened either. Guess why? They're out. They're out. So let's take a look at a couple other things that are very, very important. I'm going to do a short show today. I'm on the road, and I wanted to address this issue because it's such a hot topic right now. Have you seen what's going on in the streets of Iran? There are posters, talking billboards, thanking Trump. The kids and the people of Iran, the progressives that want to move forward and change what goes on there, that don't want this old guard of Ayatollah of anywhere running and making the decisions of their life. They want a life that's more like America. They want freedom. They're dancing in the streets, thanking Trump. They love Trump. They're so excited about America. Please, get us to be free. We want to be free like you are in your country. They're singing and dancing in the streets at the opportunity of what's before them right now because of the decisive action that the president took. That's why. That's why. Not because of what they think the Democratic Party could do for them later on, because what this president did right now. They don't want to get involved in a nuclear confrontation with Israel. They don't want bombs flying back and forth between Tehran and Tel Aviv. They don't want this at all. They don't want this. The people don't want it. But the people playing the political games with the finances of the world, they want it. There's a lot of money in it, so they want this. Trump doesn't want it. And we as a nation, as Obama said in the clip, will stand with Israel. We're going to stand. They're our long-running ally. They're our strategic location that do our bidding in that region of the world. And we're very, very close to them. Look at New York City. Look at the high concentrations of people of the Jewish faith that live here and consider the United States a hub for their people, for sure. And how Jews were freed in World War II, a lot to do with the United States' effort to try to free them because of the persecution that had been done to them through Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich. So, we have a long-running wartime relationship of standing up for people of the Jewish faith. That's not going to end now. They're interwoven into our society and into our business world. They're our friends and our allies. So I don't know what anyone's talking about, oh, look what's happening here and look what's happening there. We're gonna ride tight with Israel. That's the way it is. That's the way it's gonna be. So let's look at that reality and let's look at what's going on with the people of Iran, what they want. Let's look at uranium enrichment and nuclear capabilities of Iran. You want Iran to possibly have a nuclear weapon? You want to have no kings and all this nonsense. Some came up with some smart slogan to try to give the Democrats something to do because their party is falling apart right now. And they keep talking about the numbers that are terrible and this. It's all an illusion built by the press. It's all there to make you scared. It's all there to make you worried. It's all there to separate us. This president's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. Some of your grocery prices could come down and things that he's going to do and he's going to help happen. Remember, it took 4 years of Bidenomics to really ruin us. I mean, we really just went off the edge. It wasn't a lot better when Trump was president. And then after Obama, who tried, I thought, listen, I was a backer of Barack Obama, not as the evidence comes out about what he was involved in and everything. I don't know that history will be very kind to Barack Obama. I don't think they will. Then again, I don't know how much of it will all come out, but things that I've heard and I've been told, wow, this guy really had me fooled. But beside that, the subject now is the bombing of Iran and how they're going to try to make this divide this country. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. The president acted responsibly. They were getting stuff going down there that wasn't good. And I think that the threat of the full impact of the U.S. And our armed forces, should they decide to start retaliating. And I understand in the news that the Iranians did fire at U.S. Military bases. We intercepted everything. We had no casualties as a result. But, man, that was a stupid move on their part. I mean, what do you think is going to be gained from that? You're going to save face for having your enrichment plants blown up? Okay, well, you're just going to bring more wrath. Trump will send in our boys, and we'll straighten this out based on attacks that they do. Because they broke the agreement. Do you not fathom what they're not basically telling you? We had an agreement. You're not allowed to do 1, 2, and 4. You can do some of 3. And so, again, I'm outlining a hypothetical facetious example. But if you do 2 and 1 or 2 and 3, we're going to come down with the full strength of our military on you to teach you a lesson and make sure that you don't do it ever again, and to stop you from being and crush your capability of it. And these are the types of things that they're doing right now, that every other president I showed you in that clip have said, yeah, I can't allow that. We can't allow them to have that. And if they try to do it, we will implement military action against them. That's what we did. What every other one said. But because it's Trump, because they need to find something to say. Even the good stuff he does that mirrors their candidates, that mirrors their party leaders, they got to call that bad now, because everything he does is bad. Everything this man does and his administration is frowned upon. You know, they were talking about the deportations and how many millions of people were deported by Obama, by Biden, you know, just it goes on by Clinton, you know, and so this guy's, you know, he's had 300,000 or 200,000, whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. It's you know, not even near 1 million, and there's some that have 10 million deportations. Not one of the deportations was challenged by any of the other presidents. No one sued, no one had rallies, no one lashed back, no one got violent, no one protested, no one burned flags, none of it. None of it, and no one asked any questions. The president was exercising his power to deport these people that came in this country illegally, period. That's it. Trump does it, and we're going to fight. We're going to have judges sanctioning and ruling that's going to take up time, that has to go to appeals court, and then after the appellate level, it might get pushed up to the Supreme Court and blah, blah. I mean, it's just so tiring to listen to all of it. It really is. It's mind-boggling to think that no other president has ever had to go through what this guy has gone through. And so many other presidents have done so many of the same things, and in much, much higher numbers and blatantly worse. You know, they showed footage of supposedly Trump's separating families and them in cages, and it was actually during the Obama administration that they had this footage from, and they just lied. And they're just lying to us. So I came out of the box. I told you guys we were going to complete what I call the trifecta, which was Afghanistan, Iraq, and then Iran, and that we would find a reason to go into Iran. I hope that this is handled peacefully after this last week. I don't see it. I don't see it going that way. I think that the money that it can be made from having war is something that they actually consider. It's a war that Iran could never win, and we have a lot of Iranians that live in our country now. What does that mean for them? What does that mean for terrorism and terrorist acts against our country with that many people from Iran that live in this country and have access to many, many things? I don't know. I know that part I haven't really figured out yet. I'm going to concentrate on it more so I can responsibly. I'm sure you can hear the music in the background. They're down in the lobby partying. They're down in the lobby partying. And I'm in my room trying to do this show. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I wanted to touch base with you guys and say that I told you this was coming. I told you. And I don't think it's over. I don't think Iran has the smarts. They're going to need to get their ass kicked a little bit and make them realize. And they're going to need the pressure of their people. God bless the people in Iran that are in the streets, letting their thoughts be known, and letting the American controlled television have no choice but to see that there is a real movement now in Iran of people that are tired of the old school. They're tired of the old ways. It's time to inject some youth into the governments of these countries that, do the same things. There's a great saying in AA, in Alcoholics Anonymous, which is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's kind of where I think these people are, particularly the younger movement. They've seen it, they've heard it. It's been going on for a long, long time, and it's not going to work. So, A+ grade for the handling of the situation for Trump and the administration, in my opinion. We had no choice but to drop those bombs and flex a little muscle and let these people know they're not going to get a nuclear weapon. That's not going to happen. And you have instability in the region too. Remember that India and Pakistan just recently, both nuclear powers, recently had a real serious skirmish that people weren't sure how that was going to go. And these are people that could right on each other's border. I mean, they could. This is Canada and the U.S. Like, they touch. So letting it get out of hand there would have resulted in real problems. India, now the most highly populated country in the world. Imagine what a nuclear bomb in Delhi, or whatever, one of the bigger cities there would look like. It would be catastrophic, and we could not let that happen. And Trump stepped in. I'm sure that there was a lot of stuff done on the red phones, where they got leaders involved and threatened them. Hey, we're not going to let you do this. This is not going down. So you need to figure it out. You need to get the job done, and this needs to end now. So I'm happy that he stepped in and that he had played a role in this. And I'm sure that we have attachés that are in the region now, in the Middle East, keeping everybody calm. Remember, there's other governments that are very susceptible and seem to be very aloof to Israel. There's Syria, who's had their hand in everything, for a long time. And then, of course, there's Iraq, and what does that look like if one or more of these countries decides that they want to side with Iran? Right now, it doesn't look like that's been the case. And little tiny Israel lies in there very exposed. So don't be surprised if we see more troops and more ships heading towards the Med at high speed. I think they sent the Nimitz, which is probably a 50-year-old aircraft carrier. I believe it was on the list to be retired soon. That's named after Chester Nimitz, I believe his name was, Admiral. And they're sending a lot of other warships over there. We're going to be sure that we're ready, battle ready in the Mediterranean, and can answer and respond at a moment's notice, which would be the responsible thing to do for the region. I have a friend who was a captain, but he was involved in the direct briefing from the White House to the Joint Chiefs of Staff on the naval condition of our country every day. And so I'll probably go reach out to him and see what the cap has to say about what kind of activity we're looking at right now. He's not allowed to tell me too much, but he can tell me just enough for me to figure it out. So I'll be reporting back in on Friday. We have another show coming at you. That's today's show. I just wanted you to know. I wanted to kind of flex a little bit about how I properly called this, as I have a number of things. Remember, when I tell you things, I don't always say everything. I remember succinctly with my wife, Deasia, the day before they shot Trump. I came walking out of the bathroom, I looked at her and I said, are they going to assassinate Trump? I got this weird feeling, and I saw this visual of him reaching towards his head and they're firing at him. And she said, what? I go, do you think they're going to try to assassinate Trump? I had this weird vision when I was in the bathroom. And she said, no, I don't think they're going to try to kill him. I said, God, I did. The next day they shot him at Butler. So, I didn't come on, and I'm not seeking, Nostradamus knows so much. But sometimes I get these weird visions and weird things. And like I did about everyone saying we weren't going to bomb anybody in Iran. And I was like, yeah, no, yes, we are. And it's not over yet. So anyway, I don't always say everything that's on my mind, because sometimes what's on my mind scares me. And I hope it's not true. But most of the things I tell you, I'm pretty sure are true. And if not, I already know they're true. And my facts that I try to spew, where I get criticized of, you should really check on that. No, I don't need to check on it. I know what my sources are, and I know where I hear what I hear, and when I'm told what I tell you. And it depends, really, honestly, in this country. This is the only country, not the only country, but it's the biggest one of, if you knew what they were really reporting about us in London and in a lot of other countries, in Italy and Milan, and you follow news sources like that where they're not slanted or government controlled to say things about our policies or criticize a president or do whatever. They're not, there's no money involved in the reporting. It's quite amazing to see what they say about us and what they say about certain situations versus what our, CNN, Fox kind of stuff happens here. It's such bullshit. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's all so doctored up and masterminded. It's crazy. Anyway, as you know, we end in prayer on the show, and so I'm going to go ahead and go right into it and just say, dear Lord, thank you so much, God. We love you, Father, for your guiding hand on us and protecting us, God. And Lord, the powers that be in these countries, in Iran, let them be sensible, Lord. Let them see what's at risk and how bad this could possibly get. I mean, it could get really bad. And please, God, cooler minds prevail, God. We ask you to protect our soldiers, our men and women that are in the fray right now, that are on standby, that will be sent should there be another confrontation in the Middle East. And we ask you, God, please protect them and bring them home safely, because we love them and we are so grateful for their presence. For our armed forces, men and women, are the greatest in the world, and we could never repay them the debt that we have to them for the services they provide to keep us free. Amen. That's the show. That's the short show from the hotel in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I will see you on Friday. God bless you.